as we start, I just wanted to humbly say thank you so very much for those of you that have come in, posted, commented, liked, shared, everything you've done for the Elden Ring videos. I was hoping that they would be successful, and boy, you really didn't disappoint, and I really appreciate how much all of you have showed up and appreciated and shared your enthusiasm for those videos. Made me really happy to keep making them. It's a give and take relationship that we have here, and it's really great. If you want to go to Twitch, I'm also streaming on Twitch, so there's also that option for you. But yeah, you're welcome to. Thanks for the sub there, Reminkly. But you're welcome to stay 4 months. Appreciate that. You're welcome to stay here on YouTube as well if you're on YouTube, and if you're on Twitch, hello. So the game plan for today is multi-pronged. So the thing that you don't know is that after I've done every video, I filmed every video that you've seen the last 3 weeks. I filmed them all in one day. And then I went in and I watched some of the stuff just to kind of guess if I was right. And in our community on Discord, I was asking questions and things just to see if I was right or wrong. So a lot of the stuff that you commented on, I already sort of knew after the fact, but it was really, really awesome to uncover a lot of the lore based on your very thorough and detailed comments. So thank you so much for writing those really, really long lore bits. And while I did get spoiled for the Promised Consort for that whole like Radahn thing, I actually didn't know that Radahn it's actually Mog's body with the soul of Radahn in it. I didn't know that. I had only seen a picture of Radahn like sort of holding the things, and I was like, oh fuck. And then I obviously had seen people talk about Radahn, the Promised Consort, but I didn't actually know the middle section with Miquella. So that was really exciting for me because I saw some comments that were like, well, surely, like whatever. But so I had no idea. All of the things that you saw were all completely non-related to, besides Messmer, Radahn, and the dancing lion, which I obviously had seen from the trailers that we talked about together in those videos. Those were the only things that I had any inkling about. So yeah. Thanks, potatoes. So what I wanted to do here today is multi-pronged. We're going to listen to the whole soundtrack. So you're going to get one giant reaction video for all the stuff I haven't listened to. So I haven't listened to anything. I haven't listened to anything from that wasn't a boss theme. I have not listened to, and the reason why I didn't do the Mother of Fingers is because I saw what she looked like and I saw her combat out of sheer curiosity. And so to spare any disingenuousness, I decided to not film it. So we'll listen to that together and then watch the videos. So we're gonna watch the videos first and then talk a little bit about some of the pieces that I've already covered on the channel. And I'm really excited there's also an Elden Ring OST video I saw popped up today, which is really cool. Chances of me playing Shadow of the Erdtree are pretty low, because I honestly, I'm in a non-rage moment of my life with Final Fantasy XIV, and thank you for that, for Final Fantasy XIV and ZZZ. So I'm very busy. So just the things that are reactions are everything but the stuff you've seen on the channel, and the Mother of Fingers that I haven't watched. All right, so that's enough talk. Also, Ciao Italia. Ciao Italia. All right. Hope you're doing great. Let's start up. I guess I'll do it. We're going to listen to literally everything. So let's start off with the gravesite plane. These are the Yuka Kitamura pieces. And actually, I'm going to try to reach out to her and maybe see. Thanks for subscribing. I have 700 hours in Final Fantasy XIV, so that's sort of my, I have not listened to Scadutree. I just explained it. Anything that I have not listened, everything that's not on the channel, I haven't listened to. I'm going to try to get Yuka Kitamura to come on for an interview. I don't know if she'll A, want to, or B, be able to, but yeah, I'm eager to see if she'll want to come on. I have not done Putrescent Knight. We're going to do it right now. All right, let's listen to Gravesite Plane. Hopefully that's balanced for you. Ooh. What is that? That's Mog Lord of Blood. Right there, that little lick there. That's Mog Lord of Blood. The tremolo and the strings here is a low piano like that. The hints to Mog are fascinating because this must be as we enter into the Shadow Realm, right? That's a... I'm going to pause in a second. Let me write some stuff down. It's interesting kind of propulsion that's happening here that... With these tracks, I like to pause it halfway so we have like two distinct sections to talk about. That seems like a good place to pause right there. So what I find really interesting about this is the sense that there's a really subtle forward propulsion in there, which you can kind of hear in the tremolo and the strings. The tremolo and the strings is the thing that's driving us forward. So I also really appreciate the callback to Mog, because this must be, and again, this is not something I've heard or seen, but this must be the entry point as I assume well, you tell me, I assume that we enter into well, actually, how do we enter into this DLC? I know you kill Mog, and then do you just walk into where Miquella with the hand out? Okay, you touch the withered arm. Okay. So that's why we hear the echo of Mog Lord of Blood, right? So you hear the right? So that's what we hear there. And it's really interesting because there's a sense of, again, just let me go into singer sort of like creative, like artistic brain. So as you touch the arm, right, it's almost like you're like transported, but there's a bit of hesitation in that music. So even though it's forward moving, especially, so I'm stopped at 148. Someone just keep tabs on me. So right around here when we first start, you get a little bit of distant choir, which is really funny. And actually, now that I'm thinking about that, the distant choir also could be connected to the river, where we find Mog, the place with the stars. Forgive me for not remembering the name. It's Siofra. That's something that we hear in that. So we're getting hints of where we are. And then the forward propulsion. We also have a natural crescendo here. So we're naturally building to reaching out and touching this arm, right? Which is pretty cool. But you hear how this is actually forward momentum in the strings? Right? It's also interesting that we like pull all the way back and then push forward again. In a way, it sounds like tuning. You know how the orchestra tunes before we start? Everybody comes out, the violinist comes out, and well, the oboe starts, and we tune at A440, so the whole orchestra is in tune. In a way, this feels like we're tuning, we're preparing for launching into the new world that we're entering into, which is really, really interesting too. Also, this is the official OST, by the way. Notice the crescendos here. I find it interesting that there's a pause. There's a pause here in a second. Almost like a two-phaser, just like we have with the battle themes and stuff. Yes, A440 is the common in the United States anyway. So the bell symbolizes a new beginning, a new phase almost. But we're still sort of in a preemptive space here. This is the official DLC OST from the deluxe edition. It's on Steam. Shara yara 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 yara. In a way, it's more dangerous than the more dangerous than the soundscape that we get from the base game, where we sort of just have this sort of like moaning essence to it, you know. This really feels, especially with the strings, a sense of terror almost, of a harsh. Oops, I'm so sorry. A harsh inviting. Certainly tension, because when strings do this tremolo thing that you hear underneath, that's a really pronounced sense of dread and fear. Especially the lower notes on the piano like that. Okay, gravesite playing at night. It feels like boiling water. It's pretty cool. You know, the cello, classic Yuka Kitamura soundscape. And what is that? That's just two notes. Ya, da, da, three notes. And that just repeats. So it's four notes. Simple, simple, simple. But actually, I'm so sorry to stop. And I'll probably run out of steam, so I don't want to talk too much. But one of the things I want to really provide you with a lot of value here, because this is really, really important stuff. But there's something the music in this game is actually more important than we probably even realize. It's so vitally important to the landscape, but well, literally in this case. But listen to how we have a da, 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 da. And I want you to think. In fact, why don't you drop in the comments, what does this four note phrase? What do you think of when you listen to this 4-note phrase? Let's make this a music class. And I never wanted to teach music ed, but here I am. Think about what this means to you. In comes the strings, cello. Listen to this melody. What is that? What is that? There's no wrong answer. And I know you've seen what the gravesite playing at night looks like. But what if you don't see it? What does it feel like to you? What does it mean to you? How do you feel about it? What does it make you think of? Sadness, sad reverence. Antagonist motif from cinema, funeral, feels like you're not welcome, feels scared, despair. It does have a despair quality to it, doesn't it? Abandonment, yeah. Mourning, loss, yeah. There's so many of the simple and similar. Regret, death, desolation. I'm seeing that a lot. Despair, slower version, yeah, for sure. Mourning, but for the land, not for us. Like we've arrived in a desolate place. Somberness, mourning, 1,000,000%. Pretty quiet, dignified, desolation, aftermath. Right. So we're all kind of on the same track. And all of you, I'm assuming you've seen this. But it's really interesting how a simple 4-note phrase is really, really palpable, because what is it? It's just ya da da da. Right? 4 notes, it goes up and then it resolves down. Da 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 da. It doesn't go up more, da 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 da, which is a different quality than if it goes ba da da da, right? There's an emptiness in it, especially because we're only using the cello. You know what I mean? It's really, really neat. The cello is such a human sounding instrument. And so it gives us a sensation of being like completely alone with the wind gently blowing. And it feels like, you know how anxiety is like a cool rain that sort of falls over top of us? But this feels like a heavy pressing against our chest quality. Hopefully that wasn't too cringe and you enjoyed that. That's really fun. We should do that more for more of these themes, especially because we have a lot of back and forth together. Since I've done all this on my own, we get to do this together. So gravesite playing at night still. I got this from Steam. This is the deluxe edition. Hey, Sammy. And we're still getting the bubbling boiling over. With a little bit of choir, a big open choir. Nice reset with this. It's interesting how the church bell resets the whole thing. What is a cellist? It's a person who plays the cello. Cello is a string instrument. The lower piano like that is so stark. There's no stupid questions, by the way, so if you have musical questions, please ask them. Someone in the chat or I will answer. I love the subtle use of the sopranos in the background. Oh, right. There's actually a really slow growth in here musically. We hear a bit of a crescendo, but it's really, really dialed back. What's music? There's a little bit of a dissonant crunch here, which is pretty interesting. There's ba, boo. I like that we reiterate this sort of weird motif out of the low piano starting. The male choir coming in. What's my favorite FromSoft boss? Probably Ludwig. Probably Ludwig. Why am I writing? I'm writing Ludwig on my pad. I don't know why. Do you find this music to be boring because it's slow? Or do you find it, like, listening to it out of context, let's say? Obviously, in context, you're riding your horse or torrent, or you're not horse, but you know what I mean. What's your perspective on music like this that's sort of very... Absolutely, it's not stagnant at all. It's not stagnant at all. I find it interesting that there's a little bit of a stacking here, so we get a mix of sound quality. So we get a little bit of the highs in the strings and a little bit of the lows. And the cello, if for those of you that don't know, the cello is the middle of the string instruments. So we have the violin, the viola, the cello, and then the bass. Okay. So it's really cool. All right, Belurat Tower. Someone had asked me, there were some folks on my comments that had asked for this. So I'm actually intrigued to hear this. Yeah, I figured this was the dancing lion because of the... Really interesting doubling with the lower men down there. That's pretty cool. It's like being in a place of worship. It's like witnessing a god or something, you know. But like the god is asleep. The stinging there of the little like percussion cymbal. It's pretty interesting. A little bit of dissonance in the upper strings there. It's very beautiful. It's very first word that comes to mind is stark, which is true because it's not really complex per se. And a lot of these tracks, I don't know if you watched my previous video on Elden Ring right before the DLC came out, which is a little bit bad timing, but it was called Is the music of Elden Ring actually any good? I think that's what we ended up titling it. And in that video, I went through basically most of the tracks from Elden Ring and sort of talked about them. And a lot of the ambient tracks are really interesting because all of them follow a similar pattern to these. This has not really changed. And we mentioned whether or not a track is boring. And I think that these are really hard to listen to out of context, if I'm honest with you. These are challenging. Not because they're boring, but because they don't necessarily... One of the things that I find interesting about this, and if you think about it, Elden Ring is the first of the FromSoft games, give or take, to really feature music when not in a boss situation. So what we end up getting is... we really get a lot of like ebb and flowing of a tide. So the ebb, right. So the tide comes in, the tide comes out, and that's very similar to the base game, I would say. These two pieces are beautiful and certainly very haunting, and Belurat especially has a real feeling of personality in there. But yeah, well, what do you think of Belurat? Like what is the one word that comes to your mind when you hear Belurat? Because to me, I hear godlyhood, but like a sleeping god. And I'm curious to hear, that was not one word, but desecration, prayer. Dissonance is when two or more voices don't come together well. It's true. It's when they're slightly off. As far as I recall, there's no esteemed, lost glory, ruin, ancient, pride. All of it makes sense if it makes sense to you. Somewhat scared, empty church, faded. Divinity, yes, with the lower men in there as well. Broken beauty. Religion, scourge, yeah. Ashes of a civilization, so desecration. The music helps to fell the area someone is in right now, but it does not make this feeling alone. It needs the game sometimes. Somber, abandoned. Have I played the DLC? No. Reaching hard boss door. Divinity memory. Broken pride. Cool. Broken Beauty. Yeah, solemn, sure. It's cool, you know, this is a really good, now I know all of you have seen this, but it's a really cool, it's a real cool thing that I would love for you to apply to other soundtracks that you love. Listen to this stuff out of context, what before or after, sometimes before, sometimes after. I like to listen to things before I experience them in game, because then in game it's like, what the fuck, you know, it's like so cool. But I want you to like really your homework, if you're willing to. There's no you know, there's no extra credit, but it would be amazing if you would go and listen to some of these tracks on your own and really think about what the song represents to you. You know what I mean? And really hear it and really allow it to sort of wash over you and try to figure out, some of the reasoning why you feel the way you feel. I think it's really incredible. And that's how we practice our musical literacy. That's how we practice listening and interpreting, because so much of music, well, now in video games, context does matter. And I know I've sort of recanted on this, recanted. I've backed up away from this idea that context doesn't matter, because that's sort of stupid. From my perspective, music is everything, right? And like music is such a vital component, and listening to it out of context is really valuable, because that's where we hear all the little intricacies and we connect our emotions to it. And then when we hear it in context, then it hits us harder, because we've already established our own preconceived context. And then to see it, it will either be better or worse depending on the sort of experience. But I would love for you to take some time out and listen to some of these tracks on your own if you haven't yet, and think about how it makes you feel. And that'd be really cool to do. There's a lot of contemplation things that you can do that are really fun and don't really have to mean anything, but it's just like a feeling. Ruined Forge, Tomisawa. Let's see if we have more ebb and flow in this track as well. We have a nice big crescendo. We have low instruments, right? The forge. Did you hear the clanging back there? I was talking, but... Tremolo. See, we do have ebb and flow. You hear how we went, whoa, right? It's more ebb and flow. So you know what's really interesting? What's happening here? We're doing this thing called a. Oh shit. We're doing this thing called a caesura, and what a caesura means is we are stopping. We are stopping, and then we're resetting. So what happens is we are like this. It's railroad tracks, and the railroad track. You know what, chat? Can you give me like 5 minutes? I have an audition to do. Let's keep listening to the Ruined Forge. I'm sorry about losing my train of thought there. Super long bowings there. It's interesting. The clanging is really interesting when we use sound effects as a... So obviously it's called Ruined Forge, but you actually do hear the hollowness of that soundscape. So what's really interesting to me is that because of the openness in those chords, and because they're played, again, we have this wave thing, which is very popular in here, in this particular in this particular DLC soundtrack, well, really in Elden Ring as well, we have this openness. It really does produce a hollow quality, which makes you feel like you're wandering empty halls, or I'm picturing like a big empty space. I've never seen it, but I find that really interesting. Let's listen to. Is this pronounced jail? Gaol? It's got to be jail. That's very unnerving. This must be one of the optional dungeons that you can go into. It's like clearly a jail full of maybe skeletons. Maybe sounds like bats. Bats almost. Again, there's lots of the wave feature, right? Hello, Marco from Finland. That sounds like someone dragging like an axe on the ground. Notice how that little accent of the choir. Oh. So you're finding out a bad truth. This is where we discover about the jar folks and what they really are, or what's actually inside the jaws. I thought of it, or the jars. Isn't it just people? What's my ranking of the tracks so far? I'd say Belurat is first. Gravesite Plain at Night. Gravesite Plain. Ruined Forge Jail. Let's go. Catacombs of the Shadow Realm. They put the shamans in there? Oh, Messmer. Messmer put the shamans in there? Oh. Yeah, this is a spoil. You're welcome to spoil. Ah, the horn scent. That's the ones that they were. That's right. That's right. No, it's fine. You can spoil. That's right. America is a shaman. The horn scent. They were at war. America sets Messmer down on the horn scent. Again, push and pull in that. I don't want to just ignore a track. Push and pull in that with a mix of push and pull with a lot of tension, especially in the tremolo and the strings. Again, lots of tremolo in this. You know, it's funny because some of these tracks, it would be easy to say, well, whatever, you know what I mean? It's not that deep. And truthfully, it isn't that deep. But at the same time, I find it kind of interesting that the push and pull is such a common occurrence in a lot of these ambient tracks that they did. So you have to think about that. What's up, Milk? All right, let's listen to Castle Ensis. Again, are you hearing it? More tremolo? The cello is actually propping forward, becoming the dominant instrument. Have you noticed that? Rellana's in Castle Ensis. Going through the entire OST. It's getting louder, so we have a natural crescendo here. And what a crescendo does in a situation like that, where we're basically sustaining, what we're doing is filtering it with some excitement, because otherwise, if it were to just stay that way, which it did for some of the track, it actually becomes a little boring. And a little musical gesture is just asking or just adding a bit of volume. And a crescendo, for those of you that don't know, is just an increase in volume. Crescendo in Italian means to grow. Decrescendo, well, I don't think that actually means not to grow, but crescendo is to grow. Decrescendo is to do the opposite. And so what we end up getting is a sort of natural, and I'm doing this because when we write it crescendo in a music staff, which I don't have on me, it looks like this. That's a crescendo. So you'll see you'll see this symbol over the top of the page. And then if we were to do a decrescendo right after, what do you think it would look like? Well, it would look like this. Right? So the decrescendo, we make that line smaller. There's other things worth other annotations, but those are really important and I think helpful to visualize. Okay, so it's not Scadu, but it's Scadu Altus. Real leaning there on the lower men there. A big open-throated quality. Really leaning on the heavier elements, the lower and heavier elements. So lots of cello, bass, You hear those crescendos and pullbacks? Crescendos and decrescendos really fast. Reminds you of Dr. Disrespect. Jesus. Was this the last thing he was listening to when... No, never mind. I don't want to talk about it. Oh, interesting little bouncing there. You feel... Yada, yada, yada. It's interesting because there's a degree of a melody in here, but it's really subtle. And it's all in the lower string. But it's fragmented in a big way. Oh. And again, we're getting that wind quality. But it's all really heavy and low, which I think makes it really, there's a different feeling. There's a different feeling with using lower instruments. It creates a different soundscape than a higher soundscape. You know what I mean? If we just use the upper violins, it would have a more... Well, we are using them right there, I guess. Do you hear that, though? Yada, 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 yada. They're in harmony there. What do you think is more important for an ambient track? Good question. For it to be, it means something or just a general sound? Every track should mean something. We're covering everything. Every track should mean something. Whatever that means, it's up to player interpretation and listener's interpretation. That's getting kind of scary because we're dialing up the volume and we're dialing up the sort of... There's a little bit more layering, more dynamic with more instrumentation coming in, which is causing a sense of like, whoa, like something's crawling up your back almost. And a very faint, almost desire to have a melody in here with this. Shadayado. Right? That wants to be something and it isn't. What's the night version sound like though? Okay, it's already similar in its structure. I do sometimes get a little bit bored when the same stylistic approaches occur. We're hearing a lot of push and pull. And the word that keeps coming to my mind is desolate, broken. If we think of shadow, a shadow wouldn't have a bright sound, would it? It would have a dark sound. It would have a sound that is like darkness, a pitch black door where there's no light. But the choir provides a soundscape that is malicious. There's a malignance in the sound, you know. A malignance is something terrible. It's like something against you. Especially with that lower... I guess I suppose that's throat singing, isn't it? It's actually not throat singing, I don't think. I think it's just low. You hear how low that brass is? Or not that brass, but that the strings. It's almost like someone... Rauh said probably Messmer's soldiers, and what you hear is maybe the moans or the crying out of those dead bodies that are littered all over the land, right? And maybe the upper string could be a melody trying to break forward. Maybe that's a semblance of the lands between. You know what I mean? Scadutree was born with the Erdtree. The Shadowlands used to be connected by the lands between, but were separated and veiled. Shadowkeep. Now this feels sad to me. This feels like, again, we're still getting brokenness. But this actually has prayer. Jada yada. You hear this chanting in the background? This is communion. This is hymns of life. This is praise and adoration, but subtle, like it's a distant echo of what used to be there. Because there is a melody. This is where Messmer was kept. So maybe the choir actually represents Marika. Marika's future holiness, maybe? Or, well, her holiness? Was Marika holy in any sense of the word? Was she revered? Seems to me like Marika wanted out of the Elden Ring situation. Because doesn't Marika become Radagon? So Wagnerian. If you like this, you would so love Das Rheingold or Das Ring der Nibelungen. The Ring Cycle by Wagner. If you like this, you should absolutely watch. Just look it up on YouTube. You'd love that shit. Marika was an Empyrean. Oh, okay. Able to reach godhood. The Fringe. Really pared back. That's like a single bow. Look at that. Look at that. It's one instrument. Now we have two. See again, great, getting louder. Okay, so this is full. The ebbing and flowing, I think they could have done a little bit more variation here, of course. I mean, it's just basically just bowing the same note forward and backward. There's no vibrato. It's very raw. You can even hear the string. You hear that sort of like, it's like, it's almost uncomfortable because there's no like precision in the, I mean, there's precision, but there's no like, I mean, I'm not a string expert, but there's no sense of tone almost. It's literally just going. Right? It's like. Right? Very interesting. Ah, this is a coastal scene. That makes sense. So, let's take a quick break from listening to the soundtrack as we've been doing, because these are a lot. These are a lot of ambient tracks. And next, what I have planned for us is actually to go over to this, and I'd like for us to watch. We're gonna watch that later, but to watch this really quickly. Such a common way to end a piece by doing this in classical music. Chun 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 chun. Shum. That's a sforzando. That's pretty cool. I was hoping it would be more documentary-like, but okay. Well, all right. Let's go back. Okay. Well, that was pretty interesting. It's so cool to see the actual string instruments play. Some of these tracks sounded like MIDI, so I'm okay. That's cool. Stone Coffin Fissure. The tremolo swells are really interesting. It's like seeing, it's like a reveal of something, you know? And that sound quality is one of sadness and loss. It's interesting because the harp, and you're saying, so the harp is the representative of Saint Trina, based on what you're saying, because of the way that it actually, it is underneath in the background, but it also like, it premeditates every beginning of the phrase. And it's always playing over top of the lower strings, so it's almost like it's intertwined with it. Oh wait, that looks like scissoring. You know what I mean. See how now the harp is actually coming through more because the strings are just sort of sustaining. Finger ruins. Another. Oh, showing me his own. What I would say is that these last 13 tracks, they're sort of similar and a little bit repetitive, but what's not repetitive to me, and well, it is repetitive, but what I find really cool is the constant. I'm not yawning because I'm bored. I'm yawning because I'm tired. But what this symbolizes is. What they've done exceptionally well is the sense of wind blowing through the air, right? Why does it sound like an airplane? Huh? Why does it sound like an airplane up back there? Thanks, Matt. So there is a melody at the very top, but what we have underneath is just this constant bowing. Right? But then over top, a couple times you had right? Right here. But there is, if you really listen to the top, the upper, it actually sounds like there's a plane flying overhead. Abyssal Woods, Yuka Kitamura. Oh, whisper. Man, no thanks. I just made a video called ranking the scariest video game music of all time. Had I known about this piece, I would have put it out. Maybe I'll do it for part 2 if it does well. Again, a little bit of dissonance up there with the two sopranos. All right. Ooh. That's almost, it's chant. Right? Notice that the tremolo in the strings and the is getting louder. Now it dipped down. Here come the other. Right? You have to hide in the bushes to avoid an enemy? Jesus. This really gives a sense of absolute like you're alone completely. Midra's Manse. This sounds like giving up. Big swell. But the chant is interesting in here too. Oh, listen to the way that the vocals right there are like, ooh. That chant really is like, you know? It feels like there's something not quite right here. There's a little bit of like a twitch that feels, you know, very. Sounds like someone hitting on pipes. Okay, Jagged Peak. Bro, I've been really bad about streaming because I've been so busy. I need to actually set a schedule. But I have played the base game. You can see half of my playthrough from Elden Ring itself back like 2 years ago. Took me 6 hours to beat Millennia. It almost sounds like purring. The long breaks are really interesting. We're going to watch the cutscenes today. I look tired. I'll take that as a compliment. It really, if it's the dragon area, you feel the sort of like, you know, you feel like the sense of vastness in that, you know what I mean? You feel a sense of vastness. And also with the way that it is in the lower register, it feels like, right? There's like almost an element of animalism, right? Which is pretty cool. The mountain has more dragon corpses than you could shake a stick at. Ooh, that'd be cool to look at. Ancient ruins of Rauh. What's up, Sultan? Damn. This one almost feels positive. But we always get a little bit of dissonance. It's so interesting because every track has a little bit of like shadow. Almost always has some downward movement. Is this the area with blue fields? Or with the blue flowers? I've seen a picture. Ancient ruins at night. It's much, much more scary right away. Again, really long bowings. I mean, these tracks are all kind of similar, if I'm honest, besides the Jagged Peak was different, and oh. Again, you always have sound quality there of wind rustling. It's really interesting. Do I think I could beat Consort Radon? Yeah, I think I could. I don't know that I want to put myself through that pain, though. If you've ever watched me play Elden Ring or Dark Souls 1 or... I rage very easily. Although my next really deep dive video, I think, for FromSoft, after all the Elden Ring hype, is going to be Bloodborne again. I've been missing it. I love Bloodborne. Love Bloodborne. I would summon Let Me Solo him for sure. Enir-Ilim is one of the best ambient tracks. Guess we're about to find out. Is it bad that ambient tracks are boring? No. Ambient tracks serve a purpose. Ambient tracks, I think, are very hard to listen to out of context. Very hard to listen to out of context. In fact, I don't think they should be listened to out of context, really. But here we are. Nice open-throated O. There is a melody there. Shada yada. Ooh, but then it takes a turn. It you know what it is? It wants to twinkle, especially here. Da 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 ya da da da. It wants to twinkle with the sun shining. It's almost like there's a really subdued battle occurring with this. There's like antagonistic opposing forces, and I'm picturing above and below sort of clashing. It's weird. Listen to Felix Mendelssohn's Third Symphony. Oh no, Symphony in B flat, final movement. But the choir still provides a sense of mysticism. So it's like kind of like reverberating against the walls. Right. But there's a dissonance there. Alright, so everyone's been talking to me about Shaman Village. Here's what I know. I know the Shaman Village is where Marika's from. I know that it's going to feature... Someone said... one of the comments was like, I don't know why you're so excited about that piece. It's just the Elden Beast theme. But I bet you this is one of those things... I'm going to listen to it, but... So, some of my preconceptions going into this is that if it is the Elden Beast theme, that would be fucking crazy. Because I've read a lot about this now, and I've read that essentially the Greater Will no, it's like unclear. And Elden Beast has been acting on its own basically, and the shamans are confused and a lot of things I've seen. But I'm really intrigued. I actually will want to look this up on YouTube as well after. Oh, that's stunning. That's stunning, and you know why? And I'm not glazing. What did the kids say? I'm not glazing it. I'm not glazing this up. But obviously, you know that the Elden Beast is one of my favorite songs of all time. But check out the way that we have space here. That's fucking genius. That's so genius. Because what you get is ba-dum. Prong, prong, prarum. Right? So there's actually a shit ton of open space. And the open space actually makes it more powerful than if it wasn't with that space. Closing. Gotta give me a glizzy. Because, so what do we hear when we hear Elden Beast theme? This is underneath, right? So that's, well, I guess we could say that that's Marika's prayer, actually. But what's really interesting is that this is just it's just the accompaniment. Well. Da, da, da. Yeah. Wow. Damn. Let's watch this. I want to see what this looks like. Oh, fuck. The birds. You feel heft, even though it's just the harp. That's so evocative. By only being the harp, we're left with a sense of stillness. And because there's no movement except for nature and all these flowers, it's like going back to a childhood home and seeing how things used to be. It's very heavy, despite being the most angelic. And we should talk about that. This harp is such a frequently used, angelic, peaceful instrument. Jesus. That's very powerful stuff. That's really intense, but in such a simple way. Oh, I bet you this is a really good... What are they talking about? Is this how bad the delay is? Jesus Christ. Okay. Where was I? Oh. All right. Ooh, nice unison movement there. Chaos. It's in mixed meter. Chaka-cha-cha-cha. That's fascinating. So the antagonism in here is so palpable, especially when you start it. So the rhythm is really sharp, right? So, you know what? There's almost 700 of you in here. I just wanted to reiterate what I did at the very beginning of the stream. You've really, those of you that have been watching these Elden Ring videos, and those of you who watch my other videos, I just humbly wanted to say that you've really made the last month just absolutely wonderful. You are positive, enthralled, and joyous, and excited, and grateful, and outgoing comments. Really, really, really were such wonderful fuel for me. And I humbly and profoundly say thank you for finding value in the music and talking about the music of Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erdtree, but also just in general, those of you that have seen my FromSoft videos in general. I'm very, very grateful for the FromSoft bro community for at large, for supporting the channel, supporting me, it really just finding value in this music, because I'm really, really, really humbly grateful, and thank you. It's been, I feel very, very, very lucky. If you don't know this, for those of you that maybe you're new, I don't know how many of you are new in here, but yeah, I do be glazing. But Elden Ring was actually one of the jump starts for my channel 2 years ago. I started right around the time that Elden Ring first came out, accidentally. So I just humbly just thank you so much for. I'm just so thrilled to have read all of your comments and to have discovered the game's lore and story with you through the music. So really appreciate it. So, God dang, dude. All right. Anyway, I'd like to. So what I was talking about. I was glizzing, excuse me, not glizzing. I was glizzing, not glazing. I know that sometimes the FromSoft community can be a little bit spicy, but we've only had the positive folks from the FromSoft community in here, and I do appreciate that. Will I stream it? Probably not, but. Anyway, so one of the things that I found really interesting about this particular track, since we're analyzing the ones that I haven't done yet, is the rawness of it, and also the fact that, well, so there's a couple different things. Near the end, the rhythm is wild. So you have mixed meter, where the strings are operating in one path, and then you have the low strings, and I'll point it out, those are operating in a different way. And those things are opposing forces that really make this dangerous captive very intense and very satisfying to listen to. And then in the beginning, we have this real ferocity. And I pictured like a person in a mask who's like flailing their body and is like, you know, like maybe it's that dragon, the Dragon Knight, maybe. I would like to, first of all, talk about this and then watch somebody fight it. But like the big slam there, you know what I mean? And it's the rhythm that drives the focus of this. You know what I mean? That's the impetus. That's where the emotional stakes are coming from. And I'm really curious what your emotional perspective of the feeling is while listening to this theme. What do you wait, there really is a guy with a mask? Bro, I swear to Jesus that I have never seen. I mean, I've seen the dragon guy, but unless there's somebody else, I have not seen anything about this track. I swear to God, I have not. So it plays for a few. So this is the minor boss track. Okay. Yoda. The Lamenter? He drops a mask? The dragon guy doesn't use this theme. That's fucking hilarious. Hold on. Lamenter. Wait, so are these all the bodies of the shaman? Jesus. They have the music turned off. Damn it.
Hey, it's me, GV, and welcome. I have 6 debuffs, and if that debuff gets to 6, laugh maniacally and summon a whole bunch of shades.
Oh, there's no music? Then what the hell am I looking up?
In a second here. Obviously, if you have an A, which doesn't seem to do too much damage, but is annoying, as it will stun you. So that's the real one right here. So we're going to keep wailing on him here. I think we have like 1 debuff or something. I'm not sure if you can even see that.
Can't hear the music, but he seems nice. Sorry. Okay, well, whatever. Anyway, that's pretty cool. All right, let's keep it going. Let's go to the Death Knight. Wait, is the Death Knight the Dragon Knight? Esoteric, who has it? All right, I'm sorry. I actually genuinely want to see it, so. Esoteric. fuck? There's a hippopotamus. Oh, yeah, there is. There's a giant fucking bear. Oh, man, I don't... here it is. They laugh. Yeah. There's a real sense of like constant forward momentum and brutality because you're fighting multiple of these things. It looks like, and so there's a real intensity, and they're like sickly, and there's an intense feeling of real like violence. You know what I mean? Oh my god. And it's almost like you can't turn, you can't do anything, you can't avoid, you can't protect yourself, you can't do anything, you know what I mean? Anyway, that's enough of that. Let's check out the Death Knight. Ooh. So what I think really interesting about this first part is that we have there's a split personality element that really comes into play here, because you do have this you have an underpinning of classically based writing, right? Based on Baroque concepts and ideas. So what we end up having is the soundscape of an elegant knight who is sworn to responsibility and to duty. You hear it really in the beginning. Not here. Yeah, right here. Yeah, in here. So you have an instinct of being sworn to responsibility, but on the other hand, you also have this thing that is incapable, like it's lost its humanity, it's lost its sense of being able to function. It's almost like it has a bloodlust almost, which is pretty interesting. There's a quality in here to me of like something that's putrid, I guess, but like a fallen from grace type thing. It's pretty interesting. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's certainly what I hear. ensis. Yeah, in the second phase, not dissimilarly to Bayle, there is a real sense of, so I read some of your comments. So there's a sense of lack of control. There's no control anymore. And you do still hear the honor in the sort of this honor guard of Godwyn. And you hear it in the trumpets and the trombones and the brass especially. That's really where you get that. But there's no humanity left. And so there's a real violence in the sound. Obviously, it's very classically based violence, so it's not like violence, but it does have a malicious sound quality and certainly a dangerous sound quality and a sound quality of I guess soullessness, if that's, you know what I mean. So it's pretty interesting. I'd like to see this as well, but I read some of that after I initially made my first impressions of it. You said what I thought. I want to see what this looks like. So obviously I'm seeing what the Scadutree, I'm sorry, I can't. Oh, Godwyn's, wait, what? Why the fuck is Godwyn's face there? Is Godwyn's face in Elden Ring too? Well, yes, I know it's on the floor, but like, why is Godwyn's face right there? I don't remember his face ever being at the back of these. Happens to phase 2. I like how in most phase 2s of this game the shackles come off and there's a renewed moveset, or there's a more enhanced like violent moveset. No, not here. Cool. Yeah, I forgot that his face shows up everywhere. Never mind. Forget what I said earlier. Okay. Elder Inquisitor. It's like a reveal. A little bit of forward momentum. You know what I'm hearing though? I'm hearing heft. It's weird. It doesn't really go anywhere. Even in the first 52, actually it moved pretty quickly in those first 52 seconds because it's been 52 seconds. But what's really interesting to me is that it actually feels kind of like very heavy, it makes me think of Smog, like sort of like very large and but slumbering almost. An Inquisitor, you would think of the Inquisitor and some, like, the hunter of religious persecution. You know, you think of the Grand Inquisitor from Don Carlo, or you think of the Grand Inquisition in you know, in Spanish history. So that's the sort of the essence of that, which is really cool. I'm noticing too that the male singers in most of this track, except for the Promised Consort, are super low. Fascinating clash there with the cellos and the male voices, because this is a melody in here. That's a big tonal shift. There's like a desperation in the strings almost. I mean, I hear the protective element on it. I get sighs. I get sighs because of the low strings, but also there's just a sound quality that, I mean, someone mentioned it, but there is a sound quality of protection of the male dominated thing there. It's like a full blown melody, which we really don't hear too much of in these games. What's it called? It's called the Inquisitor, Elder Inquisitor.
In this Shatter the Erdtree video...
No. What the fuck? That is some bullshit. What the fuck? Oh man, I would be tilted as fuck. What? It's got Elden Beast moves. That's interesting. Oh, God. Rage. So it's not very big. Oh, what the fuck? I can't play this, bro. Ew. You can't think twice. Dude, that's some fucking bullshit. That cello is gorgeous, though. I guess you could run at him, yeah. Oh, what the fuck? Have help? Oh my god, dude, this is... Anyway, that seems like it would tilt the fuck out of me. So what I find really interesting about that is that I do think that there's a quality in there musically, especially with the low men, that gives it the soundscape of like an elder protector. Now I know that you wrote in on the chat that that he's protecting Midra, Lord of Frenzied Flame, right? And I know that he's got the sword or the thing that Midra's got in his head, I think. But it's really interesting because the men actually lend themselves to the sound quality of protection and of support. And it's if you think about it, the male singers are almost like columns or like a shield, which I find really cool. All right, so now we're getting into the part that I've been really looking forward to, and that is watching every cutscene. And boy, is there a lot of them. And then also, so this is the channel that we just watched. This has all the cutscenes. So this is Gamer's Little Playground. I'm really excited about this. So we'll also listen to the music of each. Oh, these are also the fights. So we'll skip the fights themselves. Well, actually, no, we'll watch the fights, I guess.
O horn-decked beast from higher sphere delivered, take root inside the tower sculpted keepers, and perched within, we beg of thee, rise.
Holy shit. Holy shit.
Cruelty, woe, and those who plague the tongue. Cleanse away the strumpet's fire.
Oh! Holy Damn. Okay. Oh, that's so cool. So, okay, so we do get the sense of, all right, please let's not talk about summons and let's not get crazy. Okay, let's keep it kosher, keep it clean. So look, okay, yeah, I was right. That's so neat because this is essentially a gathering hub or a sort of celebratory arena with stands. That's very cool, and it's also cool that when we start the fight, and there's like this jumping as we jump up and land. So that's cool. That's so neat. Jesus. It's just like unrelenting because then you hear in the strings shun 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 shun. It's brutally intense, really, really powerful stuff. I just want to fast forward just a little bit. So the weather, the elements change. I actually like this because it sounds like a torrential downpour. But you know what I mean? That's really, really cool. All right, let's check out Rellana. Oh, you just walk in and she's there? Wait, check out the mid bar change. The music goes wild with the boss. Oh yeah, okay. Hold on. Oh. Holy shit. Oh, that's so cool. All right, so Rellana is interesting to me because Rellana is super slow, or super fast, but the music is slow. Yeah, that's brutal because so I find it interesting because I also want to change the video, but what I find really brutal about this is that essentially what ends up happening with her is that she really is a fallen knight or like a sworn protector, or you know, I find it interesting that we're slow even though she's fast and brutal and dangerous. You know what I mean? That's pretty interesting and cool to me. I just want to make sure that I grab another. Here, let's do this. I'll skip the golden hippo.
O horn-decked beast.
Okay, let's Lita. Who the fuck's that? This isn't everybody. Okay. Oh yeah, it is. Okay. All right. Well, I guess no. We'll skip the. Let's go to Messmer. Oh, Rellana second phase. You're right. I'm sorry. Oh my god. What? Why does she get the Pontiff Sullivan swords? I don't understand. That's so fascinating. It's like fascinating. Fascinating that she would get that. I don't know if that's like a reference that they did on purpose or what. And see, when she does her swords, when she gets the swords, it becomes that's insane. She's Messmer's girlfriend. Oh, one to the moon and one to Messmer. Messmer. I see. Okay, cool. All right. And yes, I know I missed some themes. We'll go back. I want to just watch Messmer.
Mongrel intruder. That tarnished, it seemeth. Mother, wouldst thou truly lordship sanction in one so bereft of light? Yet, my purpose standeth unchanged. Those stripped of the grace
That's
of
sick.
gold shall all meet death. In the embrace of Messmer's flame.
Dude, his moveset is wild. What the fuck is his range? Okay, well, you can roll out of that pretty. Oh! So this first phase is full of anger and range. Saw you in a mobile game. Are we really stooping that low? Let me ask you a question. First of all, why do you care? And second of all, why is it stooping low? Do you realize that I make $1 for every 1,000 views in this doing YouTube? Why does that have to be every time I see a comment about this? You don't want me to succeed. You don't want me to keep being able to make videos. It's very funny. It's very funny. Anyway. You know, if you respected me, you wouldn't make comments like that. So, you know. Holy fuck, this fucking spin move is insane. Jesus! It's so powerful because when you get that, that's where we really get the sense of loss. That's where we really get the sense that like Messmer's been fucking alone in the top of this tower. You know what I mean? And he's all by himself, and he's like continuing to do this fight, but he's abandoned. You know, it's crazy.
I will not suffer. Our Lord, devoid of light. No, Mother. Forgive me.
It's interesting that his eye is shaped in the in like the cross of the where we find Radagon when we fight Radagon. So now he's breaking the protection from the thing that America put in there because he was afraid of him, right? And now his curse, the serpent god, right? America seals, right? Yeah. Man, the choir like that, that's so sick. So this is also really amazing. So in context, what's absolutely stunning is that we go, Rauh, pray, which is what we had at the very beginning when we first see him, right? But now we get this like, Rauh, as the veil burns down and we fucking like see Messmer as he is, his true form, that fucking, you know what I mean? Like that's the thing that we experience, and that's why we get this like low male choir, Rauh, pray, you know what I mean? It's so powerful.
Tarnished.
So I said in my video that he's backed into a corner, and that's accurate because this is when he's like, you know what? Fuck it. You know what I mean?
Wilt thou be taken in the jaws?
I do love, sorry, I didn't mean to pause there, but it's really cool that him and Millennia have the same facial features.
Of the abyssal serpent, shorn of light.
Bro. So like just all of this is so fucked. So it's interesting because then we get this blind rage ferocity that comes through. And the blind rage ferocity is stemming from him really feeling desperate and alone. And obviously he sees the tarnished and he recognizes his like sort of scope and all of this, right? And it is the brutality in the music is actually pretty subtle because what I love about FromSoft music is the three-dimensionality of the way that the characters are portrayed. And what have I always said? Maybe you don't remember, but like one of the key most important parts of FromSoft's music is the subtext. The subtext is everything in the music, right? So like you gain so much insight into the characters we're fighting because of what their music is telling you. And the thing is, you may not be able to pick up on it because it's like a secret language. But everything that we're listening to in the music is directly connecting us to what Messmer's feelings are. And that's the cool thing about fucking music. Is that, well, you shouldn't fuck music, but what I mean, excuse me. What I mean to say is that the music is everything. The music is like the like visuals are really important in games, right? But what is like the meat and potatoes, or the like the cake, like the part that you want to eat is the what the fuck is this analogy? the filling of okay, apple pie. The apple part is the music, and the crust, that's the visuals, right? The gameplay. Maybe I'm wrong, but this is just how I see it. And everything in here, the filling, that's the subtext, right? That's how you eat. That's what fills you up. But it's subconscious because we're busy like eating the crust or whatever. Does this make sense? Then I got really excited. I don't think it made any sense. Oh yeah, the double quarter pounder. I'm also skipping around videos because that one wasn't very good. But then you're all gonna freak out if I do this one because of the damn. Well, that's all. Wait, we'll do this.
Soon.
What I should say, let me clarify. What I should say is that you need to eat all of it, right? It's not obviously like you can't play a video game if it doesn't have gameplay. You can't play a video game if it doesn't have gameplay. Of course, that's paramount. But what I'm saying is that subtext in music is like the good shit. You know what I mean? Like you need it. You need the subtext. You know what I mean? Also, guys, you have confirmed to me that I will never stream this because the amount of ganking and summons that I would use is absurd. I will not stream this ever. The rage that you would turn on me with, no thanks.
Narca, a curse upon thee.
Accursed Messmer, my clan's suffering, their pain, all that they felt. Do you understand now? Your ugliness. Ah!
Whoa. So, holy shit. Thank you for that. Yeah, the music wasn't very good there. It was too quiet. Maybe we go back. Let's go back to the other guy, just because that's easier. And the music was actually loud there. Was this it? Yeah. So what's cool about Bayle is that Bayle really... Okay, interesting. So we're in a giant field of red. It looks like Christmas... what are they called? Looks like... thank you for that. It looks like... oh, God. Forget what they're called. The red Christmas flowers. Well, anyway. So this is interesting because he's flayed... So why is this guy hate Bayle so much?
I hereby vow you will rue this day. Behold, a true great warrior.
Poinsettias thing.
Begone. Your fear made flesh. Solid of scale you might be, foul dragon, but I will riddle with homes your rotten heart with a hail of harpoons, with every last drop of my being.
Wow. Ah. He's based on Moby Dick, okay. This is fascinating. So Bayle, what I said is accurate in that Bayle is terrifying. Bayle is actually probably one of the scariest. You know what? Yeah, I would say it. I would say that Bayle is actually one of the scariest bosses that we've ever fought. There is a blind, powerful, insane rage that it emits out of Bayle, and certainly you can hear it. Holy fuck. Holy shit. Oh my god.
Bayle the Dread, you shall haunt me no longer.
Also the fact that, I want Putrescent Knight I haven't listened to, so we're going to listen to that. I want to make some deductions. I have seen a picture of the Putrescent Knight, so it's a giant skeleton. But what I find really interesting, really about Bayle is how violent Bayle's soundtrack is, as opposed to how how placid Placidus-X's soundtrack is. Placidus-X's soundtrack, you really feel like, man, what an amazing fight. And you really get the sense that Placidus-X is like this, not graceful, but sort of elegant, right? And it's insane that Bayle has this short, stocky, violent undertones, whereas Placidus-X, big, and the strings, if I recall correctly, are very open and very florid, and there's a lot of movement and stuff, but it's not sharp like Bayle's. It's really cool because the two of them obviously clash. So I love that that they have this scissoring, like I was doing earlier. I should stop doing that. They have this antagonistic relationship against each other, even sonorally when you listen to their music, That's cool. That's really cool. And it's cool that the two of those heads were stuck to his back. All right. So I want to listen to the Putrescent Knight here. And the Scadutree Avatar. I've seen the picture. This is Scadutree Avatar. Sorry, Hi, Lori. Hey, gang. Welcome in. The Scadutree Avatar, I've seen what it looks like. Welcome in. Welcome, Raiders. Hey, Lore. Thank you. Let's stop glizzing. All right, let's listen to this. I don't know what this sounds like. I know what it looks like, but I'm curious to get some sort of undertones in here. Thanks, Laura. Appreciate you. Oh, cool. Listen to the undertones of the spinning in the violins like that. Why is the first phase so short? It's a 5-minute track. The first phase is so short. I love this track. There's so much movement, and there's actually like some legitimate melody writing in here, which is really, really satisfying. One of the things I really noticed was in the beginning here. This is a real. We're gonna deep dive here, okay? So just stay tuned. I'm gonna try to not talk too much, but talk a bit. So when we start, it's explosive. But listen to that. We have a melody. Da 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 ba ba do. But what I find really interesting is this. What is that saying? Oh, obviously there's a degree of sadness in there. But I find the sharpness pretty interesting too. But this is fun. Oh, he catches you by surprise. Okay. Interesting. My voice is amazing. Oh, my singing voice? Thank you. Okay, what's the second phase then? Tremolo strings. Nice accent in the soprano singers up top. Tremolo as always. This feels much more like a dance. Yeah, can I just stop? So we actually hear a lot of, this is interesting, we hear a lot of descending down. That's pretty interesting. See that tremolo swell into? Oh, cool. So this is interesting. I'm actually getting undertones here of beyond a desperate struggle. There's a sound quality. All right, I'm gonna go off because I know that this is like a sunflower. But hear me out. There's a sound quality in there that makes me feel as if there is some great tragedy that's befallen. Now, obviously, the whole fucking game is sort of depressing and there's tragedy everywhere. But there's almost a sense that this was not the way it was supposed to be. And that the Scadutree Avatar was not supposed to engage us in combat. Whatever the notes are. There's a sound quality of I said this in another video, but it's like, you were the chosen one, Anakin. You were supposed to defeat the Sith, not join them. That's the sound. That's the kind of like driving sadness that I hear. This like force. That's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? You know what I mean? See, you hear that dissonance? As we dive down, there's a little bit of a musical clash there. This is like wow. It's limping. It's a shadow of its former self. It has nothing left. You hear it in The Sopranos especially. We really slow down now. There's a decay. It's trying. It's trying. It says, no, wait, no, I can still keep going. I can still keep going. It's fine. Right? It's like I can. It's like you're running out of breath. There's a sense of not being able to move. That's really powerful. Let's talk about that. Listen to the way these folks are singing. Right? So what's happening there is we're having a lift. 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 But what's actually happening is the lift is like just raising up a single... You know what I mean? There's still a soul in there, a desperation, a desire, a want. But it can't get there. Now we're having doubling in the strings. So the strings and the sopranos are doubling in together. Thank you, Raiders. I appreciate you, by the way. I think it's really powerful to have the viola, no, the cello re-emphasize what the sopranos are singing. And this is it's almost like watching something beautiful and something really omnipotent or something really that was like I really like that last little lick here because it really felt like we were watching something that was so pristine and so pure lose itself in front of us, right? And especially in the way that rhythm keeps moving, right? That's pretty cool. All right, so next we'll watch that later. Let's go with the Putrescent Knight. Is Cthulhu in here? Hold on. Is Cthulhu in here? Well, I don't see Cthulhu. I don't see Cthulhu. This is dark. Da 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 ya da da. I love these unrelenting strings. Please do a video reaction for Midra. You're in luck. There's one on the channel right now. I'm just taking notes. Nice harmony there with the soprano. The harp again. What does the harp represent, chat? Tell me what the harp represents. What does the harp represent to you? So he's obviously on a horse. I think I've seen this though, so I wouldn't count that as me knowing something. Doubling. There's doubling in here as well. Doubling is really important. Wow. Oh my god, this is so fucking good. What's up, Cthulhu? How you doing, brother? Hey, thank you, Pookie. I appreciate that. This has got to be. This has to do with Mikola or America. There's something really powerful in here, man, guys. This is easily one of my favorite. This is my second favorite. If the Promised Consort is my favorite of this DLC, the Putrescent Knight is actually my. I'm so glad we listened to it. I love this track. So first of all, we have a lot of building and repeating and growth, and it's unrelenting, right? But we have this celestial voice. Okay, so think about the harp. The harp is angelic sound. Harp in almost anything when it comes to opera, classical music, whatever, is a sense of purity is a sense of celestial voice. We see this all the time in classical music. And so that's really important because, okay, so it looks like it has to do with Saint Trina, which I don't know what that is. I don't know who Saint Trina is, or what is Saint Trina. But there's a purity, innocence, and vulnerability in that, right? But what's really cool is that we have this constant undulating rhythm underneath, which symbolizes it symbolizes the Putrescent Knight. I think he's on a horse. If I saw like the purple landscape, and I was like, oh fuck, I shouldn't watch this. So that's why I didn't do it a reaction to it, because I would have been faking it, and I don't want to do that. So there's a quality in this of heroicism. Now, if I remember correctly, the Putrescent Knight is literally just a skeleton, but what I find really interesting is how loyal that Putrescent Knight is to Saint Trina or whatever. There's the mixture of the heroicism in the forward momentum and with the positive soundscape that we're hearing, because it's not oppressive. It's not like Bayle. It's not like Messmer. It's not like the Scadutree the Scadutree Avatar. What we are hearing is almost a sense of loyal enthusiasm towards whatever object, right? And so what's also really neat is that the soprano and that sound quality bounce off of each other so beautifully. And that is a track I would play for a non-gamer reacts video. Oh my God, thanks, McWalnut. I appreciate that. $50, I appreciate you. Thank you. So, all that to say, that's really fucking cool. That and the Promised Consort are the two pieces moving forward, and the Lord of Frenzy Flame that I would play for non-gamers, because that was delicious musically. All right, let's pivot back to watching some content. Let's see here. Skip Romina for now. Actually, yeah, let's go to the Putrescent Knight since we're right here. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Is the skeleton of a horse morphed into a knight riding atop its skin, which has been filled with putrescence? What the fuck? The harp is exceptional. I really got to tell you, the harp is exceptional in this. The way that the harp is played is fucking fantastic. It's so majestic. And it's so like a symbol of hope and light and peace. Every time you hear a fucking harp in any game ever from now on, sorry for swearing, I want you to understand that that's what it means. I would say nearly every single time. Okay? What the fuck? So wait, what? Oh, and I'm so sorry. There was a rolling quality in here that you freaking hear in this theme. And this guy is rolling. Ew, is that its really is its skin? Ew, it's like hanging off. Ew. Man, fuck this guy. Another reason I will never play this DLC. Holy shit. Oh, that... Oh. Ew, people drank the sleep potion and they all died around her and then they turned into... Ugh. Also, yeah, it does look like Orphan of Koth. Thank you, I appreciate it. Okay, cool. Let's check out Romina Saint of the Bud. You know, I find the somber quality in... I find the somber soundscape in Romina of the Bud to be very interesting to me. Now, first of all, this is fucking disgusting. But more so than that, what I find really interesting is the... Actually, I'm getting like grossed out just like looking at it. But I find it interesting the somber nature of the music. Like it's like that melodic pattern is pretty like gentle actually. Thanks, Q-Dog. I appreciate that. Thank you. Wow. Oh, wow. So this is fascinating. So it's wrapped up and coiled around her. Why is she 2 in 1? Was that something she did to herself, that she's intertwined with the two extremities of two different things? Did you say wood? Please stop. Oh my god, and she gives you Scarlet Rot. You know what's also cool is that there's a rum ba 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 rum bum 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 ba ba bum bum, and that soundscape is actually like a dance. It's actually a dance. I love that you're referencing Queelag because that's my friend who does Elden Ring lore videos and look at all these fucking Scarlet Rot butterflies. Thank you. Oh, double healing. Oh my god, what? Wow. Oh, that's so cool. So this is something I didn't catch in my discussion of the music before watching the context, but so when we have that spinning motion, what we're getting is the spinning in the action, which is really cool. So when she spins like that, you also get a little bit of delicateness, which is another thing I missed. The delicateness comes from the butterflies, in my opinion. Of course, I'm making it up. I have no idea if that's true. I'm not one of the composing staff, but I found that that's really interesting as well. And these are again, the little details based on the subtext. You know what I mean? Well, obviously, the parallels between Romina and Malenia are really obvious, but it's cool that a lot of these little things. It's weird. There's almost like a femininity in Romina, you know what I mean? But like these little details, again, chat, I'm telling you, like, go fucking ham. When you listen to this shit, I know I'm preaching a lot today, but I'm hyped up, I'm hyper, I'm grateful for you, I'm excited. So like one of the things that you really need to do is think about this music, play the gameplay, experience it, and then go and listen to the music and really think about why certain things sound the way they do. Why would this sound feminine? Is it because Romina is feminine? I don't know. Is it because of the butterflies? What's with the spinning? Is it because she spins? You got to think about this stuff because it's so interesting. You know what I mean? So anyway. And then listen to this. You hear that chaos? That chaos is easily the way that she's spinning. The way that she's spinning. So the way that she's spinning is also chaos. Make my job obsolete. Learn and study music through your favorite medium, which is video games. Get out of here and be like, Marco Meatball's canceled. That's all I want. I want all of you to be like, duh, Marco, you missed this. Don't. I would love to be here for like 30 more years, so let's not. I love the frenzy in that. It's interesting to use the heavy brass there, like Night on Bald Mountain. Yeah, I find that really interesting. Sorry, that's actually weirdly the most interesting fight. I mean, the Messmer fight was interesting too, and the other ones. But so I like how ba 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 da 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 da. That's really cool because what we're getting is that explosive butterfly action. Again, it could just be the way it's timed, right? But I think it's so interesting that we do end up hearing that desperation right in here. It's almost like this is the Scarlet Rot, right? I love that idea. I love the thought process around the fact that these butterflies spreading out while we have that sha ra da da da, that symbolizes Scarlet Rot to me. That's kind of cool. Oh man, the Millennia reference is actually fantastic though. And it's also like, you know what it's really cool about that melody too? Is that obviously those of us that have played Elden Ring and have heard that fucking melody for at least 6 hours. Mine was 6 hours. Those of you that saw that stream 2 years ago, that was 6 hours. But what I find really interesting is that what ends up happening musically is we have this big gap where it's poo, and then you hear the upper register, you hear da da ya da do. So not only is it a reference, but it's an isolated reference, which is actually more exciting because what we're doing is we're really the composers. Who composed this? Hold on. It was Tsukasa Saito, of course. Saito-san decided to be like, you know what? Let's completely isolate the Millennia motif, stick it up top so that the listener's like, I know exactly what that is. That's cool. I love it. All right, let's listen to. I'm gonna skip Commander Gaius. I'll take out. Let's see what the Scadutree Avatar. I know it's Shadow. Yeah! Holy shit! Oh fuck this, dude. Yeah, I really love the ferocity in that and the way that the strings are really sharp, which is so satisfying. Oh, it's a giant sunflower. Yeah, actually, you made a really Scaducey. Someone made a really good point. Who was it? I want to make sure I get it right. Oh, Nick Solu said, what if it's the Scarlet Rot theme to begin with and not related to... There's a theory that she embraced the Scarlet Rot and calmed it. That why her ability are bright pink instead of... Oh yeah, that's totally possible. That's really interesting. It could be the Scarlet Rot motif. And the motif actually, so motifs, light motifs, that would make a lot of sense. And it's also coordinated and related to the idea of Wagner. Wagner's whole thought process was, let's have musical motifs based on specific characters, places, and things. So when you listen to the Valhalla theme, it's the theme for Valhalla. When you listen to Wotan's theme, it's Wotan's theme. When you listen to the Rainbow Bridge to Valhalla, you hear the Rainbow Bridge motif. So Lolga's theme, same thing. So motifs are really, really cool. And that's actually a great idea that it could be the actual motif of the fucking Scarlet Rod. That's really cool. Everybody praise, who was it? Niklatu? Praise, praise Caducey. Everybody praise Niksolu. So, all right, let me just fast forward to the third phase. Oh, slowing down quite a bit. Cool. Is it anybody's birthday today, by the way? Oh, before we get to Midra. Is it anybody's birthday? Going once, going twice, going 3 times, waiting for the delay. Whose birthday is it today? Luna's chewing her bone right outside the door. It's hilarious. Nobody's birthday. Damn. Okay. It's your birthday in 6 days? Good enough for me. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. Super Mantis, it's actually Super Mantis' birthday today, and it looks like in 5 minutes, Reaper of Things is also their birthday. Happy birthday. No, but my auntie died? Jesus, I'm so sorry. That's terrible. Not funny. Very sad. All right, let's listen to Midra, Lord of Flame. And you haven't reacted at all as yet? That's normal. You'll get there. Sorry to hear that. Okay, let's go.
The depths of your foolishness!
Well, definitely a desperation in there. Wait, hold on.
The depths of your foolishness!
Total desperation.
Enough.
Wow, look at this cinematography.
I have endured more than enough.
I've endured more than enough.
I ask you forgive me.
Who's Nanaya?
Dearest Nanaya.
Garemont's VA. His wife is Nanaya? What the fuck is going on here? She wanted him to embrace. She wanted him to embrace. Fuck! She wanted him to embrace. Lolo, what's up? She wanted him to embrace the Lord of Frenzied Flame. Jesus. Endure. Oh, priests. Oh, the Frenzied Flame are the ones that wear the red robes, right? I love that. I love that foul chant. I love that foul chant. That's foul. That's fantastic. That's a giant flame. Okay, guys, I'm sorry. I don't know shit about the lore. That's fantastic. That is like such the opposite of like praising Jesus Christ or something. You know, this is like, hello, I am the Lord of Frenzied Flame. Holy shit. Run, bitch! Yeah, I told you. What? That covers the entire field? It's got Lady Maria vibes, actually. I love the veracity in the strings. It's fucking sick. Oh man, also worth noting again is the incredible crunch in the violins. You feel that like real like, you know? Hold on, I need to find somebody else here. I just want to hear the like second half because the second half goes hard as fuck. So, yeah, let's watch Ong Ball. Wait. Oh yeah. The strings. I mean, I'm sorry, but this theme is fucking ridiculous. That's fun. Jeez, it's so good. Also, chat, really, it's gonna be okay, guys. I appreciate you. But seriously, the incredible pulsation in the brass, that is like such like primordial, insane shit. It's so good. With the dissonance and the violin up top. And it's just a waltz. It's a fucking waltz. Holy shit. Bro, Ongbal is insane. I actually do want to watch this. That's crazy. I think, yeah, I actually do want to check out the merchant theme, because you're telling me that there's a motif that I missed, so it's important for me to hear that. Song of Despair? That's a remix. I don't want to do that. Although Alex Rauh is great. Oh no, I've never heard this. I have not. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Well, I don't do remixes because that's not, like, this is stuff that's in the game. That is a remix that Alex did. So if I do that, then I don't want him to like copyright me in any way. So I'm just playing stuff that I would hear in the game anyway, or see in the game. So it's, what I find really interesting about this song, even just at one pass, is that this is truly just the soundscape of like a very casual song. Like, it's a song, obviously it's a song of despair, but it is a song of like, it's a song that you would sing while working. You know what I mean? Taught them the music to calm down the frenzied flame. They were taught that song by Saint Trina to keep them sane from the flame of frenzy. Okay. So, oh shit. So that's when we unleash the calmness. Damn. Wow. Whoa, that's really cool. Holy shit. So this theme is really positive. So Saint Trina, again, Trina has produced now twice. We've heard peaceful, beautiful music from Trina. The idea of a harp and a peaceful quality, right? So here we get a soundscape of peace and of beauty, of something that you would hear, you know, anywhere, a Neapolitan song or something, right? But then, let me hear if I can hear it in Yeah. Enjoy your leg day. I see. So this is really cool because this is with the male choir in here ripping. That's essentially saying like, fuck the peace, fuck whatever. We're just diving in. And okay. So apparently that person, Trina doesn't have anything. Point being that there's a brutality in that because they're unfettered, because they are no longer further back, because they're not containing themselves anymore. Oh, here. Oh, right there. It's like saying, hey, remember me? You could possibly, because it's further back in the mix and because it's just a few directly pulled from that one theme we just heard, it's like saying like, oh God, I'm still in here. Help me. Oh, well, you know what I mean? That's sick. That's super sick. Okay. Oh shit. Okay. All right. All right. We have to listen to, all right. I only have, I have 20 more minutes. So let's get some Mother of Fingers in here. I think I've seen this, so I know it's just a giant fucking hand, but, I want to listen. That's so funny. So this is really, 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 the sound quality is absolutely celestial and absolutely religious and like otherworldly and bigger than anything else. You know what I mean? It's like, it's huge and it's like a god and we're in this like vast space. You know what I mean? Cosmic horror. Yeah. Eldenby's older sister. You know, it reminds me a lot of Ebrietas of the Cosmos, which is really interesting. There's a little bit of Ebrietas of the Cosmos. That's pretty cool. Again, the sopranos having these whole notes and having these open vowels really get the sense of space and the vastness. That's how those are the clues. I just want you to know the big space. Also, Redbone. I've already done a video on those united in the common cause. I would highly recommend you go listen to it. You can go right now even. Interesting. That's huge. That's huge. Also, mind you, that's really amazing. Right? So you get right, coming into space, from space into the world. That's kind of funny. It's sort of like an interesting musical thing you could consider as a musical gesture. Big up top, landing that comet into the ground. You know what I mean? Oh man, this is like the planets, the twinkling of the stars. That sounds like the planets. A little bit of dissonance though. Whoa. Wow, that's cool. It's huge. Wow, and the timpani in the background. So there's no discernible melody because it's not supposed to be about melody, because we lock into melody. As humans, we identify with melody. Melody is like a channel from our soul is connected to melody. Melody, earworms, things that we can latch onto, the way that phrase structure works, broadly speaking. I don't want to speak in absolutes because that's impossible. And everybody reacts in response to music. Music, it's a really interesting thing because there's so much that goes into music, and it's not just what we perceive of as Western music. There's such a wide variety of music. But either way, music and hitting things and banging things together to make drum sounds or whatever, even probably in the prehistoric Paleolithic era, I don't know, someone in here is a Paleolithic scholar, but all that to say, like, we've always been sort of drawn to creation and music, I would assume. And, especially if we look at like the history of opera, it's basically opera was created as a way to revive the Greek tragedy that they would do back in the Greek time period. What's it called? Anyway, point being what? I was careful of how I worded that, so much so that I forgot my point. Point being that fuck. Shit. Anyway, all that to say, like, the vastness, there's no melody here. That's the point. There's no melody here. And because there's no melody, there's nothing we can latch onto. And so it creates a sense of vastness, wonder, fear, terror, because there's nothing that we can hold onto and say, well, I connect to this. This is beautiful, powerful, not effervescent, but beautiful, powerful, dangerous. And because it's so wide, we can't attach ourselves to it. And it's foreign. It's scary. You know what I mean? Anyway, hope that makes sense. The fade out for phase 2 is interesting. That's so wide. It's fascinating to me, and I'll tell you why. What I find really, really cool about this is, I've already listened to Scadutree, by the way, if you just want to scroll backwards. What I find really cool and really beautiful about this is that a lot of you are saying that it sounds like a black hole. And totally. And what I think is really interesting is that there is nothing for us to latch onto in a really like amorphous way, right? So it's like there is a melody that wants to come across, and I kept waiting for like an Elden Beast melody to sort of pop in, but it didn't. And there's just this empty sound space that doesn't ebb and flow, which is the interesting part to me. Doesn't ebb and flow like the stuff that we hear in the ambient music. So what we get is this wide open space, which is bordering on ambient and sound effect, right? So it's like it's really interesting. It actually reminds me of the there's that track I listened to. If you haven't watched this video, don't feel obligated to, but there's a video about ranking the worst video game songs of all time. And I'm planning on doing a ranking the best video game songs of all time. It's going to be, I'm trying to make it a series because I think ranking is kind of fun, even though it's completely arbitrary and doesn't matter. But what's really cool is this reminds me of a mixture of the Mother 3 theme, whatever, one of the tracks, which is just one noise over and over and over. And I was like, this doesn't really count as music. And it's interesting. Do you think that this is music, this second half? Or do you think it becomes devoid of music because it can't be music, right? Like, is it like, you know what I'm asking? Is it like, do you feel like this is music, or do you feel like this is ambient sound effect that is almost, I guess, that is almost replacing the melodic pattern, so it becomes a soundscape? Yes, okay, yeah, I think it's more of a soundscape, sure. Isn't that so effective though? Because it differentiates itself from the other themes, which is really cool. Again, these are the questions that I want you to start asking yourself. You know what I mean? And unabashed emptiness, absolutely. Ambient music, totally. Things are music when you try to listen to them. It can. It's true. It's true. It's true. I love this. I love this, all of you, because I think this is really, really fun. And I decided to go into a more educational perspective with the Shadow of the Erdtree stuff, because I love your passion. I love how enthusiastic you are about this music, especially because this music is so classically based. I get excited about it. And so asking you questions like this, I would love it for you to take these questions away and think about some of this stuff on your own. You know what I mean? So we're going to listen to Saint Trina. Then we're going to go watch The Promised Consort and Mother of Fingers. Is a dog barking music? These are interesting questions. And the reason why I asked this is because there's a composer, John Cage. Did you ever see 4 minutes and 45 seconds? Have you ever seen that? It's literally a pianist. They sit at the piano, and they don't play. Right? So who's to say that the noises that we hear around us is not music? And that was the point that John Cage was making. Music could be the sound of the fucking air conditioner, if that's how it feels to you, or me talking to you, or whatever. So all I'm saying is, like, these are the complicated and interesting and beautiful things about music that make everything interesting and make things so fascinating to explore. Is mayonnaise an instrument? It could be. That's the noise it makes. Yeah, it could absolutely be music. I don't know. Let's listen to Saint Trina. Ooh. I really expected. All right. So first of all, sorry for being unhinged. This is what happens when I'm excited. I'm a professional. I was expecting Saint Trina's music with the harp and everything to be very, very beautiful. But instead what we're getting is a sound of actual danger and a sound of missed opportunity and a sound of desolateness, and a sound of collapse. Again, the harp represents, you know, the celestial voice. Oh, yes. I hope those strings... Yes. See how we slide up like that? That's empty promise. My pleasure. Beautiful swell into that, and then it pulls right back. It's like, please, right? And then that cello gets the emphasis. Then that sound of decay. Listen to how that cello just took over. That's incredible. Oh, that's a stunningly depressing melody. It doesn't fucking resolve. It doesn't resolve. Do you see that? Do you hear this? Listen. I'm sorry, I'm yelling. Listen to how it doesn't resolve. It should go da, da. It doesn't resolve. That's so important. It doesn't resolve, chat. That's a huge deal. Because based on what you're reading, everything is over for Saint Trina. She's lost everything. It's like, you know, not to be dramatic, of course. She's lost everything. It doesn't resolve. And also there's like a little moment of gasp. This is the cool thing that I used to do in opera. We used to sit down and be like, okay, well, why does all the stuff I do with you is what I used to do by myself with opera. So it's so much fun to do it with people that are curious. So your enthusiasm for music is wonderful. Listen to this. Oh, no, sorry. Is it here? Yeah, right here. Listen to this. Listen to this swell. We have it a couple times, but this is breath, right? This is breath. And then a release. You hear that? That's so palpable. What a gorgeous piece. What a gorgeous piece. What a gorgeous piece.
Don't turn the poor thing into a god.
Wow. Oh. That's really...
Mikola's prison. A caged divinity is beyond saving.
You do that 3 times?
You must kill Mikola. Grant him forgiveness.
It's his alter ego. Okay, hold on. I'll watch that later. Ongball. Please hold. First of all, what an incredible creator. Oh, fuck. What the fuck? So I quickly saw this when I was like, but I was like, okay, I saw what it looks like, but I didn't realize you saw the like thumb, like the fingerprint. Have I been into playing video games myself? Chat, let him know. I play way too many video games. I've been playing video games since I was 7. I play video games a lot. Oh my god, even the feet. Even the feet. Ugh. Flicks. It's almost like when we remove the music, it almost becomes like a desperation. It almost makes it sound like Metyr is like, whoa, 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 huh? You know what I mean? So like actually removing the music, yes, we do get that black hole essence, but we actually also get this sound quality of. It's weird because there's nothing, and yet it's insane. Like, how could a god be felled by the tarnish? Or you know, that's really, really, really cool. Okay, so I would like to see. Yes. Now I've watched several streamers play this fight now and like YouTube videos about it, but like first of all, like imagery wise, I really am just blown away by all of this, right? And just seeing Radahn. Oh wait, you know what? There's a cutscene. I'm sorry.
My loyal blade and champion of the festival. Both your deeds will ever be praised in song. Now, the vow will be honored, and my lord brother's soul will return, so that he may be my consort.
It's fucked up that Miquella was like, I know you didn't want to do this, but you don't have a choice. There's the motif. Man, that's so heroic. All right, this is the middle.
Lord brother. At long last you are returned.
Again, we're having the upper sopranos. The upper sopranos. This is super celestial. And then we get the juxtaposition between Miquella and Radahn. Radahn, strong male choir.
Aspiring lord of the old order. If you have known sin, if you grieve for this world, then yield the path forward to us. To I, Miquella, and my promised consort, Radahn.
Hold on, this is the ending, so I want to go back here. What I love about the male chorus in this is that we're like up close and personal with this. You know what I mean? Like we are directly face to face with Radahn. With there's no barrier, there's no horse, there's no nothing, there's no challenge, there's no battle of champions. This is me and you, and we're head to head, right? And we're like the true form, you know what I mean? I watched the video earlier of when he grabs you and he enchants you and you die after the second grab. It's crazy. Thanks, Angel. I've done some Blasphemous. I'll probably do more. But I just want to reiterate that this tenor section is so incredibly powerful. I want you to understand just how crazy high that is, and also how incredibly satisfying that is to experience, especially as a trained professional opera singer, as a tenor. That is some balls to the fucking wall, rip roaring singing. It is sick. It's absolutely sick. And I really just can't underestimate or overstate how cool this is musically. Right there. Because I also think too, like, just because I know this voice type, because that's what I am, that is heralding the triumph. That's heralding the arrival. That's heralding like Radahn as a force of absolute nature, differently than in the lower voices. The upper voice is calling it out, causing you to pay attention to that. And it's just like a primal fucking scream. And that's the other thing. That's the other thing about singing with a tenor voice. The tenors, like if I try, I'm probably gonna crack. But like, let's see. That's no joke. I don't know if I blew out the speaker, sorry, but that is high as fuck, right? And it's all body. That requires every inch from top to bottom of fucking like just laying it on. And I want you to understand that just a tiny little corner of this piece shows and showcases all of the intensity that we hear. And that's really fucking cool. All right, let's skip to the... On your donation! Thank you. Let's skip to the... Promised Consort. And I love the bells here. The bells absolutely just like create this insane quality of just heralding like the second coming. It's crazy. Also, Ongbal is sick. And so the other thing that I thought about, the other thing I was really thinking about was the idea that we have two different sound qualities. We have the one sound quality that is celestial and elegant and playful not really playful, but certainly elegant. And then on the back half of that, we have the crazy low, we have the cellos, and those strings are symbolizing Radahn. So you still have, and I missed this when I talked about it in my previous video because I just go based off of feel. So there's right here, actually, you can kind of hear it. Do you notice that? Do you pick up on that? Do you hear that? There's a duality in the music, which is really, really satisfying and really cool. And then the boy comes in. That's the other crazy part, is that then the boy choir comes in, the boy singer comes in, and that's when you get the real like Mikola sound, right? There's more of that mix. Now we get Radahn again. I really do love the pullback as well. Like the pullback when we, so obviously it's really intense, but the pullback where all we end up with is, oh, Marika. That's so pure, right? It's like so stunning, so simple. Oh, that, what the fuck? Their Radon theme comes through. That was mesmerizing to watch, too. I don't know how Ongbal does this, but it's crazy. Ongbal is insane. I can't believe... I wanted to stop a while ago, but like he's like... They're so fascinating to watch. Listen, guys, I really, really hope... I hope that you gained a lot more insight of this soundtrack and what you love. In terms of my favorite pieces, I think it's pretty obvious. Midra, Putrescent Knight, and the Promised Consort are the three pieces I think of this DLC that, well, and the Dancing Lion theme. Those four are truly just beautifully exceptional. And I really would encourage you and urge you as you play this and replay this and play other FromSoft games and whatever game you're playing to really, really, my plea to you is to really sit down, play through the game with the context. Enjoy the context. The context is there for a reason, but I would love for you to then take the music away from the context after experiencing it with the context. You can even keep it in your mind's eye. It's fine. And I want you to like just explore why you connect with a piece of music. Ask questions. What does this make me feel? What about this causes this sense that I feel, right? So like continue to the thread and see where you land. Not only will that help you with your musical literacy, but will also help you appreciate this piece both in and out of context, which is really important for you in general. I have had such an amazing time with you today. I hope you enjoyed this. If you've joined us late, thank you for, coming in and feel free to watch the VOD. For those of you that are watching the VOD, thank you for watching the VOD. Thank you for supporting me on this 2-year journey with Elden Ring and for all the other FromSoft videos I've posted. You probably won't see too much Elden Ring on the channel. Eventually, I would like to play this at some point, but you will be seeing more Bloodborne. I'm really diving back into my Bloodborne phase. I feel it creeping up, so we may stream that here soon, but I just wanted to just say again, one last time, thank you so much for supporting the channel, for your donations, for your comments, for your kindness, for your generosity, for your willingness to come along on this journey with me, listening to and discussing music, because it is so powerful and so important, especially in FromSoft music. And you have given me a voice that I am very happy to share, and just immensely thank you for this, okay? Take care of yourselves, be well, enjoy the VOD, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye, everybody.